About a year ago, I made a full video on the Jonathan Reed story. Back then, I wanted to tell you the story. Today, I want to tell you why I don't think it really holds up anymore. And honestly, I think that's just as important, because if we're going to take this UFO topic seriously, we're going to have to be willing to call out the cases that don't deserve to be taken seriously.
So if you've never heard of the Jonathan Reed case, here's a quick breakdown. Back in 1996, Reed claimed that he was walking through the woods with his dog when they stumbled upon a real strange creature. According to Reed, his dog attacked it and the creature vaporized it. Jonathan Reed then says that he fought back, struck the creature, and it was lights out for it. He then filmed what he claimed was an alien body laying on the ground, and there was also a hidden craft nearby. The footage spread like wildfire, and for a lot of people, this was the most convincing alien encounter story to ever be caught on film. But as more people started digging into Reed's claims, the story began to unravel. And that's when things got interesting.
Now let's give him this. When this first hit the internet, it was creepy. The footage looked different than anything people were used to seeing. It came out during the time when people were obsessed with aliens. X-Files was huge. The internet was still kind of like the Wild Wild West. It was almost the perfect storm for a story like this to just explode.
So what exactly was it about the alien in the freezer story that made it so believable to so many? For one, it was raw footage. This thing was shot handheld. It wasn't no Steven Spielberg blockbuster hit. It was shot off a VHS handheld camera. The alien body was also very memorable. The wrapped humanoid figure. It was unlike any of the UFO stories that were circulating at the time. The internet was a real different place back in the 90s. Information spread quick, but it was much harder for the average person to fact check claims or to trace back its origins. The story also had a complete narrative. It wasn't just, I saw this thing in the sky. It had a beginning, which was the hike. It had the conflict, which was the physical attack on the dog, the physical evidence, which was the body and the craft, and as the story progressed, a lot of additional claims. People are naturally drawn to stories with a clear narrative. Oh, and let's not forget about the timing. In the 90s, people's interest in aliens were very high. Movies and shows like The X-Files had a lot of people wondering whether or not the government was hiding something. So audiences were a lot more receptive to dramatic UFO stories.
But here's where things started falling apart. Once people started actually digging into the story, they weren't finding any answers. They were finding more questions.
Who was Jonathan Reed really? If this thing killed his dog, how'd he manage to kill it with a stick? Where's the alien body today? Why wasn't the entire scene documented from beginning to end? Was Jonathan Reed really his real name? If this was the discovery of the century, then why wasn't independent testing done immediately? Why does the footage never seem to answer the questions that everybody has? Where exactly did this teleportation bracelet come from? Why does the story keep getting bigger and the evidence keep getting weaker? Where'd that spacecraft go?
Then you've got the alien itself. And listen, I'm not saying I know what an alien is supposed to look like. None of us do. But when you start looking closely, some of the movements, some of the proportions, it starts feeling less like you're looking at a real creature and more like you're looking at something somebody built. And then the story starts getting bigger, not stronger, bigger. Now we got teleportation, we got the link bracelet, we've got all these incredible claims, but still no independently verified proof. Now here's the thing, I want the evidence. I really want there to be a case that just changes everything. But wanting something to be true isn't the same as it actually being true. And I think cases like the Jonathan Reed story, even if just for entertainment, they end up hurting the conversation. Because every obvious hoax gives skeptics another reason to dismiss the cases that genuinely deserve to be investigated. That's why I think it's important to revisit stories like this. Not just to tell them, but to question them.